Hello students, let's continue our chapter 7 packing. We are on page 86. We know that we have been studying about 3 friends. And who are these students? They are none than Harris, George and Jerome. And we saw the other day what happens with Harris and George as they start packing the hampers. And today we are going to see the funny thing about their dog Montmorency. Now, what happens to the dog, or what does the dog do to them while they are packing? So please take page number 86 and continue. Montmorency was in it all. Of course, Montmorency's ambition in life is to get in the way and be shown at. If he can squirm in anywhere where he particularly is not wanted and be a perfect nuisance and make people mad and have things thrown at his head, then he feels his day has not been wasted. So students, about whom are we talking after the 3 friends? We are talking about Montmorency. See, Montmorency is a dog. So what is that Montmorency? What does he do? For him, his ambition in life is to get on the way of the people and to, in a way, harass the people. So over here, what is the meaning of be sworn at? Over here, the meaning of the be sworn at is get scolded. And how does this word pronounce? It's pronounced as squirm. What is the meaning of squirm? The meaning of squirm is wriggle. Students, I had told you the other day to find out the difficult words and find the meaning for yourself. I hope you are doing that. So, let's go. If he can squirm in anywhere where he particularly is not wanted and be a perfect nuisance and make people mad. So what he would do? What is the meaning of nuisance? Students, the meaning of nuisance is coming on the way, becoming a trouble. As he comes over here on the way, becomes a trouble for the people. And so what happens? Naturally, they may quick, or he may make the people mad. He may make the people irritated. And so, then, and have, turn the page, things thrown at his head. So when you are angry, you may also shout at him, shout at your dog. Then he feels his day has not been wasted. So for him to get scolding from the owner was something great. To get somebody to stumble over him and curse him steadily for an hour in his highest aim and object. And when he has succeeded in accomplishing this, his conceit becomes quite unbearable. So students, what is that? To get somebody to stumble over him, meaning he enjoyed that. When somebody stumbled over him, he enjoyed that. And curse him steadily for an hour, meaning when your things have got spoiled, naturally you will keep blaming the dog. Is his highest aim. That was the aim, as if that was the goal the dog Montmorency had. And when he has succeeded in accomplishing this, his conceit. What is the meaning of conceit over here? The meaning of conceit over here is pride. Becomes quite unbearable. So here the meaning has been given to you. The meaning of conceit over here is taking pride in him, pride in himself. He came and sat down on things. Who is he? The dog. Just when they were wanted to be packed. And he labored under the fixed belief that whenever Harris or George reached out their hand for anything, it was his cold, damp nose that they wanted. So see students, what is happening? Well, he is now already sitting on the things which they have packed. And what is he wanting? They were wanted to be packed. The things Harris and George wanted. You know now that Harris and George had got the work of hampers, whereas Jerome had already finished his work of packing. And he labored. What is the meaning of labored? Work. Work under the fixed belief that whenever Harris or George reach out, now when they wanted something and they reach out to get that thing, what would they get in their hand? The damp nose of the dog. He put his leg into the jam and he worried the teaspoon and he pretended that the lemons were rats and got into the hampers and killed. Let's turn the page. Over here, let's turn the page. 3 of them before Harris could land him with the frying pan. Now, come back to the previous page, student. Now, what does the dog do? He considers lemons as rats. Where has he put his hand? He has put his leg into the jam bottle. And he worried. What is the meaning of worried over here? He disturbed. He wanted teaspoon. Teaspoon for what? Maybe wanting to have that jam. And he pretended as if the lemons were rats. And he got into the hampers. He got into the hamper and killed. Killed whom? Killed the lemons, thinking that they were the rats. And he killed how many lemons? He killed 3 lemons, meaning he squashed the lemons. And then, who ran behind him? Harris could land him with the frying pan. So, with the frying pan, Harris is running behind him. Just come to the paragraph number 14. Harris said, I encourage him. I didn't encourage him. A dog like that doesn't want any encouragement. So, see students, now maybe the friends are fighting. One is saying that you encourage him, and so therefore the dog was encouraged to do the naughty thing, the nuisance. But then Harris is saying the dog doesn't need any encouragement. It's a natural, original sin that is born in him that makes him do things like that. So, about whom are we talking? We are talking about the dog. It's natural in the dog. It is the original sin. He is born with it. And so therefore, he doesn't need to learn anything like that. It is already in him. The packing was done at 12:50 and Harris sat on the big hamper and said he hoped nothing would be found broken. So Harris is sitting on the hamper after packing in order to keep the things properly. And at what time they have finished the work? At 12:50. He wants to make sure that the things have not been broken. George said that if anything was broken, it was broken, which reflections seemed to comfort him. So what he says, if anything is broken, let it break. Now I'm not going to do anything more than that. And that reflection seems to have comforted him. Then he also said he was ready for bed. We were all ready for bed. Harris was to sleep with us that night. And we went upstairs. So Harris was supposed to stay with whom? Harris was supposed to stay with George and Jerome. So what he does that night he stays there, and now they decide they go to sleep. What time it is? It is already 12:50. Then they go to the upstairs. Come to the next paragraph number 15. We tossed for beds and Harris had to sleep with me, he said. So they toast for bed. Now where will Harris sleep? Will he sleep with Jerome or he will go with George? And then, do you prefer the inside or outside J? Now who is it J? The author, Jerome. So who is asking? Harris must be asking Jerome. Would you like to sleep inside or outside? I said I generally prefer to sleep inside a bed. Harris said it was odd. George said, what time shall I wake you fellows? Harris said 7. I said no, 6, because I wanted to write some letters. So see, once again they are fighting. It's already 12:50. They had to get up in the morning early to go for the trip, and still they are fighting. Fighting for what? At what time they should be getting up? Who will sleep inside and who will sleep outside? Harris is saying it is something odd. And so students, they still keep on talking and arguing and all. They are still not settled. Who says that I want to write some letters? Jerome says he wants to write some letters after getting up in the morning. Therefore, he says we will get up at 6. Whereas Harris says we will get up at 7. But then, what is the conclusion? What time do they get up? Harris and I had a bit of a row over it. But at last split the differences and said 6:30. Wake us at 6:30, George, we said. So finally, what was the conclusion? Neither 6 nor 7, but 6:30. That is 6:30, they were supposed to wake up. They were supposed to get up to go for their trip. George made no answer, and we found on going over that he had been asleep for some time. So we placed the bath where he could tumble into it on getting out in the morning and went to bed ourselves. So see students, they realized that as they were arguing what time to get up, what time to wake up, they realized that George was already asleep. When they tell him about the time, George is not aware of it. So what thing they do? Something again they do, and that is they fill the tub with the water and they keep it in front of where once he gets out of the bed, he will tumble into that tub and he will fall. And that was a fun for themselves. So you see all the naughty things they keep doing over here. Who is doing now this? Jerome and Harris is doing for George. Earlier the things were happening like they were not getting the spectacle, they were not getting the toothbrush. It was happening because they were not aware what they were packing. So students, over here we have finished the lesson. You can see the author's name, Jerome K. Jerome. And you know that we have already finished this lesson. I had sent you a few questions. Now I'm just going to summarize this lesson for you. Or I would just like to ask you one question. If you are asked to write a note on Jerome or on Harris or on George, what will you be writing? So far, you know where we started a lesson. These three friends. Who are these three friends? Jerome, George and Harris. These three friends have decided to go on a trip. And what is that? Somebody or the other has to do something or the work. Jerome is taking the work of packing. He already starts packing, doing the things, realizes that he has forgotten to take the toothbrush, keeps searching for it, whereas his other two friends are looking at him and trying to make fun of him. They are sitting comfortably. And then, later on, once he has finished his work, the other two have to take the work. And what work do they take? This is the packing of the hampers. But we see, while packing the hampers, all the nuisance that they do. What has happened to the butter? And what has happened to the tomatoes and the other things? How they have been squashed. And they fall into, butter is getting stuck on the, one of them on their back. They are searching for it. Finally they find out the dog coming, Montmorency, the dog coming in between, irritating them with many things. And the dog, as if the dog wanted his day is not accomplished unless and until he gets scolding by the friends or the owners. We see it over here in the picture. All the nuisance that the dog is doing. He kills or he squashes the lemons, thinking as if they are the rats. The things are becoming worse, but still these friends are excited. They keep doing their work, and then towards the end, as they have finished everything, finally packing at 12:50, they are going to sleep, and at that time they have argument over what time they should get up. While they are talking to George is already asleep, and the last thing they do is that they keep a tub of water. When the George gets up, he should tumble over it, he should fall, and that would be the fun for the other two friends. So the last nuisance or the last thing, exciting thing that they do before go for a trip is this. With this we have finished this lesson. Today I am going to do something different with you. So far I have been sending you the error correction words, or I have sent you about the adjectives. We have done the figures of speech, synonyms, antonyms. Today I am going to give you the nouns. Nouns from these lessons. There will be the verbs, and from the verbs how you make the nouns. This work, what I am going to show you, the board work, you have to do it in your fair note. Have a look at the board, students. Can you see the nouns? Chapter 7, packing. Who is the author of the packing? Jerome K. Jerome. And you have seen all the naughty things they have done. Here are the nouns. From the verb impress it has started. The noun form of impress is impression. The words in pink could be the question or the verb form asked to you in the exam. The writing in yellow is the answer of the verb, and that is a noun form. In the exam, the passage will be given to you, and from the passage you may have to find out the verb or the noun or the adjective. Depends what is asked to you in the exam. Today I have done with you nouns. I also will do with you adjectives, adverbs and so on. So please do the homework. Write the textual question answers. Keep your fair notes complete. See you soon. Have a good day.